The band played cover songs to help boost morale.
This exercise ensures the readiness of the medical staff in our military hospitals. Welcome to this edition of the Desert Vision, presented by U.S. Army Central. I'm Sergeant Jennifer Schick.
And I'm Sergeant Christopher Lindborg.
Coming up, soldiers of the 452nd Combat Support Hospital and 1st Theater Sustainment Command participate in a mass casualty exercise. U.S. Army Central holds a change of command ceremony. The 34th Red Bull Infantry Division's Red Devil Rock Band performs for service members, and soldiers participate in a Value of Life event.
U.S. Army Central held a change of command ceremony on March 9, 2019 at Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina. Former Commanding General Lieutenant General Michael Garrett ended his tenure and made way for the new U.S. ARCENT Commanding General, Lieutenant General Terry Farrell.
Military traditions were on full display to welcome the newly promoted Lieutenant General Terry Farrell as he takes command of U.S. Army Central on March 9, 2019 at Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina. The command flag passed to Farrell from the former General Michael Garrett, who is ending his tenure at U.S. ARCENT and moving on to take over at U.S. Army Forces Command at Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
So thanks to you all. And for the final time, I get to say, third, always first. Thank you all very much.
As a new U.S. ARCENT commander, Farrell will command units in the United States and the CENTCOM areas of responsibility as they continue to engage in the fight with a force of more than 23,000 soldiers and civilians. Farrell has more than 30 years of experience to bring to his new position, which includes duties in the United States, Iraq, Kuwait, and South Korea.
To U.S. Army Central soldiers and those forward today that you represent so proudly, I am truly excited to be on your team. An honor to come down here and now actually get to be in a position where I can be a part of what you do on a daily basis, because without you, U.S. CENTCOM would not be able to perform its functions.
Reporting for U.S. Army Central, I'm Specialist Ashton Kohler.
Soldiers of the 452nd Combat Support Hospital and 1st Theater Sustainment Command participated in a mass casualty exercise at Camp Arif Johns U.S. Military Hospital.
Exercise. Mass cal has been declared at USMHK. All hospital personnel, please report to the hospital.
Mass cal is a mass casualty event. This is really important because you never know when a mass casualty event is going to happen, especially on a post. It could be, an explosion at a DFAC. It could be a car accident. If you have 2 people working during the day, then a mass cal can happen with 4 patients, 5 patients if they're serious, or 1 if you're really low staffed. We had a gunshot wound to the right arm, we had a head trauma, we had a toxic ingestion, we had a few minor wounds to limbs, scrapes to the forearms, eye injury, knee injury, a lot of walking wounded.
It's trauma in the surrounding area. This happens to be a larger exercise than we normally perform that involve multiple locations throughout the country.
Total body surface area greater than 20%.
Benefit the most out of these is working the communication between us, different units, different services here in the hospital, our evacuation piece, the air evac, the casualty liaison teams notifying families back home, units here on post.
Today's exercise went great. The purpose of these exercises is to find ways to improve, so essentially to fail now rather than fail later. I think overall things went well. There are things we need to improve on, which is why we do these. So overall, I think mission accomplished.
This exercise ensures the readiness of the medical staff in our military hospitals in case of any mass medical emergency.
I appreciate the lack of time and effort you've taken to secure your information. It makes it easier for me to get to you.
Lock them down.
Locked in.
Locked in. Locked in.
Lieutenant Hall.
Yes, sir.
Let's bring the rain.
I'm Brigadier General Griffin Olive, the U.S. Army Central G6. My job is to defend the network. Cybersecurity is important to me, and it should be important to you too. The Army's network infrastructure is vital to our efforts to defeat our enemies, protect our interests, and support our allies and partners. We all play a part in defending our networks from infiltrators. We are all cyber warriors. This year, we're hosting the Best Cyber Warrior Challenge, an annual competition held to identify the best cyber warrior teams. The event will be held at Camp Arifjan, Kuwait from May 13th through the 16th. The teams will be challenged with cyber games and scenarios. I invite you and your cyber team to compete for the Best Cyber Warrior 2019 title. Hope to see you there.
Army musicians with the 34th Red Bull Infantry Division's Red Devil Rock Band got their opportunity to support fellow service members in theater during St. Patrick's Day weekend. The band used their annual training days to perform a show at Camp Arifjan, Kuwait.
We're here in Kuwait for 2 weeks to perform with multiple different missions at hand. First is our rock band is performing for soldiers and other service members at 3 different bases throughout Kuwait. It is the most direct soldier support and outreach to other nations that we can do. This is really what the mission of the Army bands is. And so to perform overseas is to really accomplish that mission, which makes us all feel better about what we're doing. We found out that the division headquarters was going to be deployed in Kuwait for 9 months, and for a while we thought that we might actually be with them on that. So we started planning for being here a while. When we found out we weren't going to be on that deployment, we thought, well, what can we do to really support our division headquarters while they're here? And AT seemed natural because we're already paying soldiers, feeding them, and making sure they have housing. And so all we really needed to do was get here.
So we offer something special that just regular touring bands don't have, is that we are soldiers just like them. We all go to boot camp together, except for when we go to AIT, we get trained to be musicians. So we have a special connection with everyone here, being that we are soldiers, providing them with music in order to help them feel like that they're back at home.
The band played cover songs to help boost morale of deployed service members, while also providing them a small taste of home for a short while. Now, let's check in with Staff Sergeant Justin Harden for your ARCENT Minute.
Welcome to your U.S. Army Central Update. I'm Staff Sergeant Justin Harden. In this edition, we'll join Chaplain Major Jesse King with Area Support Group Kuwait as they conduct a ruck march at the Value of Life training event on Camp Arifjan.
You can save your own life.
Today we are conducting Values of Life training, which is a supplemental program to the annual Army Suicide Prevention ACE training. It's conducted outdoors, it's conducted in a PT environment. We conducted about a 3-kilometer ruck march. During that ruck march we had 4 checkpoints and we had some talking points at each of those checkpoints. Between the checkpoints, we had a few people in the formation who carried sandbags to simulate carrying a burden in life and helping each other out with that burden. So they would swap the sandbag and help each other out. Today it was important to get the message across that it's important to care for yourself and do the things that you need to do to stay mentally, spiritually, and physically fit while we're here.
U.S. Army Central hosts these types of events to demonstrate its enduring commitment to soldiers' health and welfare. If you or someone you know needs help, please call the number on your screen below. That's your ARCENT Minute. I'm Staff Sergeant Justin Harden.
Now let's take a look at what the major commands of U.S. Army Central are up to. that's it for this edition of Desert Vision. For these stories and more, check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/US Army Central.
And our YouTube channel at youtube.com/US Army Central. I'm Sergeant Christopher Lindborg.
And I'm Sergeant Jennifer Schick.
Always forward.